I'm Mark Seifter,
And I'm Linda Zeiss Palmer.
and this is Arcane Mark.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Build an Item Workshop 7, a Crown of Build an Item Workshop. Let's build an item together here today on Twitch.
That's right. For our 7th item, we have to decide what we're going to build. So we'll start, as always, by brainstorming a few concepts for an item. If you don't have a concept, you can't really start building the item. So just put some of your ideas for concepts of items into the chat, and we will collect them and have a vote. And once we've voted for the item, we can start building the item using the item building rules from Game Mastery Guide, page 82.
And as always, once I'm going to be taking notes as we build the item, and once we're done, I'll be posting it up on our Discord, which you can join if you're not already part of at tiny.cc/arcanemark.
That's true. It's true that she'll be posting it, and it's true that you can join it.
I like to say true statements.
Are you sure? Was that statement true? Alright, so what concepts have we for items? Looks like so far chat has...
There haven't been any ideas in chat just yet.
Yep. Because I think that Goblin Friend and Elmo Fire are from before. Yeah, they're
true.
not item concepts.
Build an item
Workshop. Yep.
7.
If you're just tuning in this moment, we are coming up with concepts for items.
Workshop.
Rico says, I think we're supposed to build a crown. Well, there's no reason that you need to build a crown or not build a crown. Just give a concept for an item and we will build that item. Or one of the concepts that wins the vote. A crown of build a crown workshop. Okay, so Rico's concept is kind of like Glaupnir, the ring from Norse mythology that makes more rings. It is a crown that makes crowns.
Crown that makes crowns.
Yes. That's correct. A crown that makes crowns. Alright. Does anyone have any concepts that is not a crown that makes crowns for an item? Post it in chat if you do.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't... Just because we've had a tendency to build like overly complicated stuff on this doesn't mean that simple ideas are not also welcome.
I mean, a lot of the time, a simple idea is actually, like, a better idea for an item than things that are too over the top. Alright, a foundry.
A foundry. Something for Nadi or Conrasu.
I think those probably should be separate.
Something for Nadi, yeah. Something for Conrasu.
Alright. So that is 4 concepts. That's probably enough to vote for our concept. If you're just tuning in now, we are coming up with a concept for the item we're going to build. You can post yours in chat, and then we will have a vote about what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 so far. We could call a vote for that.
Technically, it's 5 because crown that confers royal powers was different from a crown that makes crowns.
I thought it was do the crowns that the crown that makes crowns confer royal powers.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a separate idea.
No, I think it's the same one. See, Rico said that.
Oh, okay. Crown that makes
because if the crown just made crowns and then the other crowns didn't do anything, and all that did was make crowns, then it's not that interesting of an item because it just makes crowns. All right.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay,
so I
I'll
think
go
we
ahead and
can
put
do
these
that vote,
in there,
and if we
let's-
pick the ones that are too vague, without some backup, then we could have people decide what it actually is. Like the ones that are vague being like a naughty thing and Kanrasu thing.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Please vote,
Vote
for your favorite.
one. Or hey, put in Philip's one as a 5.
Yeah, serpent staff.
Serpent staff that turns into
They
a
can
giant
turn into
snake.
a giant
Yep.
snake. All right.
Vote for 1 through 5. Pick your favorite, and we will do the one that wins the vote. Shocker. It looks like Philip, who created number 5, has voted for 5. Linda, are you tracking the votes, or do you think it's going to be simple enough to keep count of?
I think it's going to be simple enough to keep count of.
All right.
But I can also write it down. I have written down the number 5, Mark.
You wrote down the number 5, Linda.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Do I get a cookie and a gold star?
I think you ate all of the cookies. Unless you still have those maple cookies. I don't know if
I do
you
still
do.
have those.
Then
Yes,
you can get a
they're delicious.
cookie.
Looks like we have a 1 and a 4 as well.
All right, 5, 1, 4. Yes, Elf, you're right. There's not a lot of people in chat for this workshop. It's going to be a little trickier if we don't have as many people who are participating, but we can do it. It's going to be certainly when we have something like this where there are 5 options, it's going to be rough when like just everybody voted for their own.
Well, we can give it a little longer, and then we could roll randomly between 5, 1, and 4.
I think that's what we're gonna wind up with, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll still be able to go faster even with only a few people in the other later sections. All right, Rico could switch to 1. Okay, so if you want to switch to 1, then we will round up building a Crown of Build a Crown workshop that makes crowns that confer royal powers.
All right, so we're building the Crown of Build a Crown workshop.
All right, no worries, Pablum. There's no need to participate any more than you are interested in doing.
So we've got a concept.
So we've got a concept. We are making a crown that creates additional crowns that confer royal powers. So that is our basic concept.
So is this crown is this crown then going to be like a crown that is held by an emperor who then decides who else is going to have powers over like the various...
I think that's
divisions
correct.
within there?
I think that's correct. You have a higher ranking person who is giving certain territories over to others. So we'll just call this let's see. It's not exactly the crown of regency because they're not becoming a regent for someone. It's the crown of maybe the crown of rulership, like
I think that
rod of
makes sense.
rulership. So what this crown is essentially doing is it is your crown, and it can spawn off additional crowns for other territories that you rule. You put it on your person for that territory, and it denotes their rulership over that territory. So it is very likely that it's going to let you communicate or sense in some way about what's going on with the people who have those other crowns that it made. It probably might let you mentally influence them because
Yes.
they have chosen to accept this crown from you and accept you as their rightful, like, hierarchical, higher ruler. but it also is going to give them an ability to rule the area that they are in. So that seems like what we're going to go on here with the Crown of Rulership. Apparently, it was the title of an old AD&D adventure, so there we go. Rico says it's the one crown to rule them all.
Yes.
Essentially. So we've got this crown, and
so
we know it's going to be a worn item.
Yes, it's going to be a worn item.
So this thing
How high level is
this thing sounds pretty high level.
It does because it's like something that you're going to have on. If you see this thing's roll on a campaign, it's going to be probably on like some powerful ruler who's doing these things. And
so
also,
I'm gonna peg it at 17 plus, so it can also be a +3 skill item. But tell you what, let's actually make it more than that and have it be a Charisma Apex item, an alternate to what's the one that currently exists for the Charisma Apex item.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
An alternate to Circlet of Persuasion. So we'll pull up Circlet of Persuasion to see what that does. Because I don't remember exactly what it does. May have even written Circlet of Persuasion.
You've written a lot of things, honey.
Load. Nethys load. Okay, well, when it loads, we'll see what the Circle of Persuasion does. But let's make it a Charisma Apex item. But higher, this is clearly, like, higher scope than Circle of Persuasion, which means it's probably level 18 or 19. Maybe 19. So it's like, it's a definitive 2 levels higher than Circle of Persuasion. It's going to be a Charisma Apex. It's going to give us +3 to, like, some kind of rulership skill or skills. The littler ones that it makes are probably going to give our proxies +2 to
That's
those
CRB,
skills.
right?
Yes.
I'll BRB.
You'll BRB for the CRB?
Yes.
I'm sure that like, Nethys is going to load in a little bit. Oh, okay. I think that's probably because Mongi Expand stuff is too cool, and it's on Nethys, so people may have been all going on Nethys to find out about. Whoa!
Trying to carry too many things at once.
You sure are. Rico's linking to a non-Nethys location of it.
Alright.
Okay, so the Circlet of Persuasion gives +2 to Deception and Diplomacy, gives you Charisma, and once per hour does a 4th level charm. Alright.
Fair enough.
So...
Well, I do have the CRB on hand for other things now, too.
Alright, so our 19th level Crown of Rulership is going to give us +3 item bonus to...
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what happened was that Lyndon knocked out the power cord
when I
and
was tripping.
almost the modem.
Yep.
Okay. So, it's going to give it +3 item bonus, so we're a ruler over other people. We probably don't need Deception. So maybe it gives a +3 item bonus to Diplomacy, and also to Intimidation against people in the area that you rule, but
Yes.
Diplomacy is against everyone. And then the mini crowns do the same thing with +2, and it's only for the area, the smaller section of your empire that this satrap style figure is ruling for you, or governor is handling for
Mini
you.
crowns.
And only the Crown of Rulership, the main crown, is going to be an Apex item that gives Charisma +2, obviously.
So we talked about communication.
And Jen is asking, are we not doing phrasing anymore?
Oh, I think you may have been talking about another meaning of tripping that wasn't me. It wasn't me completely failing my my acrobatics check there.
I don't know. I don't even think you had to roll an acrobatics check. I think it was just like a critical failure at some other check that had a and you fall prone.
Yeah, probably. Maybe it was like a critical failure in athletics check to carry objects.
That makes more sense to me.
Fair enough. That was definitely a critical failure one way or another. I'm just glad I didn't hurt myself or break anything.
That is good. That's a plus. It's an upgrade over some other critical failure. All right. So
you talked also about communication
yes.
and
so it should allow you to maybe you have a status with the people wearing the other crowns, and you can send a sending to back and forth with each of them once every hour.
Mhm.
Because you don't need to be able to like constantly talk to these people.
And what about the thing that makes it easier to mentally influence them?
Yes. So maybe when you're sending the sending to them, you could also cast a charm spell. Or maybe not a charm, because they're probably already either your friend or you trust them.
Yeah, already like some kind of a suggestion that was like suggestion plus has some kind of like...
Yeah, subconscious suggestion. Oh, you mean like demand from...
Or was that only
there was a demand spell, which was at least in PF1, but maybe you can cast subconscious suggestion on them so they don't realize that you are influencing them.
Oh yeah, that works. It looks like I'm falling off the screen there. Sorry about that.
No. So, yeah, maybe once per day when you're doing the sending, you can cast subconscious suggestion on them. Alright, so how many crowns can the crown make? Well, since this is supposed to be about this episode and it is Build an Item Workshop 7, maybe it can make up to 7 crowns. So then you have 7 crowns in one.
People are talking about telepathic demand.
Yeah, that kind of thing. The spell demand from PF1 was like exactly this. And telepathic demand is the PF2 spell that does it.
Yeah. So it could be telepathic demand instead of
it could be, but I think it's easier to just make it be a subconscious suggestion that happens during the sending to those people rather than an overall telepathic demand where you could telepathically demand to anyone. But I mean, we could just say it is telepathic demand, but only on those people.
I guess the question is how much is it like about directly commanding them versus like subtly influencing them.
Yes. That is a good question. Telepathic demand also is a message of 25 words. It is insidious with the suggestion. So it is very similar to what we're doing here.
So this is so with this being a 9th level spell.
Yeah. So I think it's okay if our sending sends a subconscious suggestion, so it's very similar to telepathic demand. The fact that it's doing a 9th level type thing would normally make it so it needs to be on a 19th level item, which it is, but this item does a whole lot of other stuff.
So we
however, it's literally on people who chose to take a mini-mass from you, whereas an item that was like, I'm a 19th level item, I give +3 deception and 1 telepathic demand per day, would just be that 1 telepathic demand per day anywhere, anyone. So I feel like the limitations that it has to be someone who's like, hot diggity, I'm wearing this crown because I'm ruling over a portion of your empire, limits it enough that it's probably okay. Probably. So at that, I think that will do it, because like, you know, having 7 crowns in one is also like a cool thematic thing. It fits with Build an Item Workshop 7, and let's see. Philip is saying maybe it can charm a very large number of people. We could potentially do that instead of some of the other magic stuff that we're doing It really depends. We don't want to load it up with like too much stuff. But partially because we made it an Apex item and give it so many skill bonuses too. That is an interesting ability, and we definitely were talking about possibly being able to influence your own subjects before as a possibility, so we could do that.
I wonder if it could be something like where the crown's ability to charm is based on how many of the sub crowns it's created. So like if you haven't dispersed the power to make if the sub crowns don't exist, then you have more ability to influence others, and then the power disperses out when it spawns the other crowns.
I see. So like.
So it's more of a versatility thing rather than a strict like.
So like, as long as it hasn't made any of the little crowns, which means you can't use any of the other abilities, then maybe it can charm. Maybe it can charm more than 10 people.
Yeah.
So charm 8 is 10 people. And so maybe it can charm 20 people.
So that way you can...
Or 25.
Yeah. That way you can use it to try to gain your power base in the first place by surrounding yourself with loyal cronies, and when you feel that you have enough of those, then you can deactivate that power and start spreading those out, and then instead of using the charm, you're going to be using the sending and then the other magic to influence those people specifically, where they act as your proxy.
So it charms 25 people who are subjects from your area.
Yeah.
Specifically, not just like any group of 25 you come across. And then once you've created at least one crown, it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But it starts having all these powers that you can use and gives power to the person with the crown.
Yeah.
In terms of, they have a bonus on skill checks. Oh, and maybe the person with the mini crown can do a once a day 4th level charm against a person from the area they control. Yeah. Kind of like Circular Persuasion is once an hour 4th level charm, but this is once a day, and it's restricted to the place they control, so it's like you're passing the charm stuff onto them, and that's why you don't have it. Alright.
From the place that they control. Cool.
Okay, so, let's see. Where are we going to do some things? Let's look at the DCs. So, level 19 base DC is 41, so let's make our, telepathic suggestion 41, but let's use
lower DCs
for the mini crowns charm effect, maybe a 37, like if it was 2 levels lower. That's still very good for like a random thing you created for your buddies. Their subjects are probably not going to save against 37.
Yes. And how expensive is this thing?
Probably, this sounds like upper end for level 19-ish,
yeah,
right?
So...
An Apex item is upper end for 17 by definition, but the question is, did we pack enough stuff that for level 19 we're all the way at 40,000, or are we just close to 40,000?
Should we say, 37,000?
Shall we say 37? How about 37,500?
Okay, sure. 37,500 it is. I wanted a 7 in the price somewhere.
All right.
Scientific right here.
Yep. And yeah, Philip, we have a sending back and forth with the other, whereas once per hour, and you have a status link so you can tell if something weird happens to them. Rico says 37777. That reminds me of my original prices for the magic items in the Mag the 3 section from Legacy of the First World, which were all powers of 3. And they were powers of 3 that were like very close to the correct range for the price that the items should be. But they looked too weird, and so in development they moved to reasonable numbers instead of my very unreasonable powers of 3. But powers of 3 are very beautiful.
They are.
For a 3 theme. Anyway, we could do 37777. What do you think, Linda?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. This is our item. Do it.
One weird trick to make editors hate you, says Rico.
Oh, I know many of those tricks, but I won't be sharing them here.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take one weird trick, but we love our editors.
We love
so
our
we're not
editors,
gonna do
so
them.
we learn those. We learn those because they'll come up very politely in conversation of maybe could you not do that, and then it's like, oh crud, I'm so sorry. Let's tell everyone else not to do that either.
Maybe Rico would do them.
I don't think so. I think Rico is a nice person.
All right. So, we've got prices and we've got DCs. And so, I think we've got it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a new Apex item. If you're actually rolling over something like in Kingmaker, then it's definitely better for you than Circlet of Persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot you can do with it. Rico loves it, so there we go.
Legit.
All right.
You could also have a PC be offered one of the side crowns.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, yes, I'm going to take this
It's like,
position.
take this. It gives you a +2 on diplomacy on everyone and on intimidating the people in your area, and you could charm them once per day. And it's
No
free. It's
drawback.
free. It's free.
We're just going to give it to you because you're PCs and you're awesome, and the PCs don't look too far.
It's
Like,
free,
oh.
and you can send it back and forth to me if there's a problem in the area,
Mhm.
and it gives me a status in case you. So that means if you get like drained or doomed or
Yeah.
controlled by an aboleth,
Also, I
then
figured.
we'll be able
yeah.
to tell.
Also, I figured this item is probably rare.
What?
I figured this item is
It's likely that it is.
probably rare because there's not going to be that many that are floating around, and whoever is using this is probably going to want to be more secretive about its true power.
Yep. So, there you have it.
Mhm.
We took the idea of a crown that makes crowns, and we made it into a serious item.
Mhm. We are all about the serious business here in Arcade
Yes,
Mark.
Arcade Mark is serious.
Serious
It's
business.
serious and sober business, Linda.
Yes. Mhm.
It's very serious. You can't make fun of serious business.
No, you can't.
This is how serious it is.
Damn it. I'm never gonna win the game of make the other person laugh first.
All right. So, yeah, this is what we've got. We can put those subconscious suggestions on our people with the lesser crowns, but we're
Mhm.
giving them a lot of benefits too. There we have it. So this will go up on the Arcade Mark Discord, which is going to be tiny.cc/arcanemark. So be sure to check it out there and join it if you are not on there. Although I have a suspicion that everyone
here is
here
probably
is probably
there,
there,
in case
but
they aren't.
if you're not, it's a cool place.
Oh,
Philip
it's not-
says maybe it should even be unique, and it's possible. I'd say that it could be, if it's unique, then you would name it, and it would be like, this is the crown that the Padishah Emperor of Kalesh has, or
Mhm.
something like that. You could. For now, we'll make it rare, but in your game, you could give it a backstory and like a unique empire or kingdom that's associated with it, make it unique very easily. It would fit into that role. I agree. All right.
Sounds good.
So we've got our item. Let's say goodbye to YouTube.
Bye.